Assalamu alaikum everyone. So in today's video we will solve mid-year exam 2023 December 2023. So in this video we are going to solve section B. I have already solved section A in the other video. So let's start section B of this paper. Question number 11 is represent the following on the number line. Following real numbers on the number line. So as you can see that the all right, I have just attached my pen. So let me go back to that page from where the section B is starting. All right, this was the question. So question is represent these number line. They represent these on the number lines. So first real number is 3 whole 2 by 3. So this is 3 whole and this is between 3 and 4. So 3 whole 2 by 3 is basically 3.6. So it is close to 4. So I will draw it somewhere here. 3 whole 2 by 3. So now the second number. Second number is minus 12 by 8. So to have an idea that where this number will go, minus 12 by 8 is basically not in the simplest form. So if I divide it with 4, so it is 4 minus 3 by 2. So minus 3 by 2 is basically minus 1.5. So minus 1.5 will be between minus 1 and minus 2. So here it is. So minus 12 by 8. So if I locate these two real numbers on the number line, I will get 2 marks. So now the second question is identify the real numbers as recurring or non-recurring. So when I calculated this 2 by 3, so basically 2 by 3 is a recurring number. If I divide 2 by 2 with 3, so every time I will get 2 remainder. 6 3s are 18 and every time I will be getting 2 in the remainder. So basically this is a recurring decimal. So because 3 whole 2 by 3 is a equal to 3.6 with the bar, so it's a recurring decimal. And 3 minus 12 by 8 is basically equal to, we have just solved it, it's 1 and minus 1.5. So it's non-recurring because it is a terminating decimal. So it's non-recurring. Alright. So recurring is the one where there is a repetition after decimal. Non-recurring is the one where there is no repetition. So moving on to next question. Question number 12. Question number 12 is in how many days 6% will complete, or 9% can complete a project in 12. So it's a proportion question. So I will write down person and days. So 9% can complete a project in 12 days. If there are 6 people, how many days are required? Step 1 of the proportion, then I need to put arrows because persons and the number of days are inversely proportional. So I will put arrows in the opposite direction. Now I need to make the equation. So I will write down x by 12, just follow the direction of the arrows, is equal to 9 by 6. If I solve this simple equation, so 6x is equal to 9 into 12 and x will be equal to 9 into 12 divided by 6. So this will be cancelled. So x is basically 18. So that makes sense also because when there were 9 persons, 12 days were required. Now the persons are less, so definitely the more days will be required. So now they are saying how many workers can complete this same project in 9 days. So if I write down this again, so because now I need to find out persons or worker, so I'll put that on the left side. So days and person. So when there were 12 days, 9 personnel were required. So if there are 9 days, so let me call it x again. So inverse proportion, I will put the arrows in the other direction, and the equation will be x by 9 is equal to 12 by 9. So x would be 12, 12 persons, right? So when there were 12 days, 9 persons were enough, but now there are 9 days, so we need 12 persons to complete the same. So what is the proportion in A or B? So we have just used it. It is inverse proportion. So 1 marks for this answer. Now the D part. State the reason for this identification. Why do you think this is inverse proportion? So when this kind of question is there, so you just need to answer it like this. If number of persons, if persons are more, less days required. Or you can write down that if one quantity is more, the other is less. So it's inverse relation. So moving on to next question. Next question is related to number sequence. So we need to find the seventh term of sequence. So seventh term of sequence, for that, basically this is nth term. An is equal to 2n square. So I need to find a7. So I will put n is equal to 7. So basically it will be 7 square. So now the square will be taken first. So 2 into 49. So double of 49 is 98. So 98 is the answer. Now for the next one. What will be the value of n if 2n square is 18? So we need to solve it. Let me take 2 on the other side. So it will be 18 by 9. N square is 2. Sorry, it was 2 which is with which we need to divide. So 18 by 2, and n square is 9. So if you simply take roots on the both side, square root on the both sides, so your answer would be n is equal to 3. So next question is find the fifth term of the sequence n cube minus 45. So I told you earlier also, this is the general term formula, n cube minus 45. So if I put n is equal to 5, so I will be able to find fifth term. So 5 cube minus 45. I know that 5 cube is 125. If I subtract 45 from there, so I get 80. This is your answer. Alright, moving on to next question. Next question is simplify using laws of indices and give your answer in positive index form. So if I simplify, so the first thing I need to see which law I can use. So I can use power of power, but I can also just take a reciprocal so that this minus 1 by 3 will become 1 by 3. So let me start solving. So I will take a reciprocal and this will become 64y cube by 27 x raised to power 12, and the whole power will become 1 by 3. So now this is the time for the law power of power, but the 64 and 27 I need to resolve them. I know that 64, if you don't know, you can simple do the prime factorization of these both numbers. So 64 is basically square of cube of 4. So because I know, so I can write down directly, and 27 is cube of 3. So this is the you can say power form I have changed them into. So now I will give power to every variable or number inside. So this y cube into 1 by 3, and in the denominator it is 3 cube into 1 by 3, and then x cube into x12 into 1 by 3. So these are cancelled. So here it is. So the left over is 4y divided by 3x raised to power 4. This is the simplest form and also in the positive index form. So that will be fine. So moving on to next question. Next question is again having negative powers. So I can just take the reciprocal and the both powers will become positive. So if I take reciprocal, p cube q8 whole power 1, because reciprocal will change it into plus 1. P raised to power 10, q raised to power 15, and the reciprocal will turn this also into the plus 1. So because the 1 power does not change the powers, so I will simply change. Now this is very important. If you bring that, apply law number 1 here, so it will be 3 minus 10, and if you apply law number 2, so it will be q minus 15. So the answer is p minus 7, q minus 7. So now they are negative indices, but I need to answer in the positive index form, so I will take a reciprocal of the base. So if I take the reciprocal, p7 q7 will be there. So because the denominator here was 1, so I have taken the reciprocal and the powers become positive. Moving on to the next question. So another question of indices. So you can see that I can solve the front or the top part first. So 3 into 2, I can just write it down, 6. X square into x, so it will be law 1, x1 plus 2. Y will remain as it is, and in the denominator it is 4x square by 5. So now if I cancel it, it would be 3x cube y, and in the denominator would be 2x square y 5. So x cube and x square will be solved. So 3 minus 2. So now this is very important point, that instead of taking this 5 on the top and solving this by law 2, I am taking this downwards, so that my power is not changing into a negative 1. So I will write down 5 minus 1. So the thing we learned from this step is that we should take it to the bigger power. So that answer is a positive number. Now the final answer would be 3x by 2y raised to power 4. Right? So moving on to next question. Now the question of factorization. So the first part is 2 terms and there is a negative sign. So I know this is formula number 3. So first of all, I will take 5 common, because I have learned that taking common is the most basic factorization method. This is the leftover. Now I will see how can I apply formula 3. This is x square and this is 2y whole square. So we are using formula a square minus b square, which is equal to a plus b into a minus b. So I have factorized this expression into the 3 factors: 5, x plus 2y, x minus 2y. Moving on to the second part. So I need to be careful about this, that the first thing I can take out is the common. So I can take out 2 from the numbers and x from the variables. So this will be x square plus 2x plus 1. So now there are 3 terms. I can use middle term breaking or I can use the formula. So 2x into, basically this is formula number 1. Why? Because this is x square plus 1 square plus 2 into x into 1. So basically this is formula 1. So I can write down 2x into x plus 1 whole square. So I have figured out 4 or 3 different factors. One is 2, one is x, and one is x plus 1. So moving on to the next question. So this question is from simultaneous equations. So I have one graph is already or the one line is already drawn. I need to solve the second one. So in the first step I need to complete this table. So for the equation 2x plus 3y is equal to 11, I need to fill this table. So first of all, when x is 0, so if x is 0, so it would be 2 into 0 plus 3y is equal to 1, 11. So 3y would be 11 and y would be 11 by 3. So I can just write down 11 by 3. So it's okay. If I need to draw it, I will not use this point. It's fine. So then the next one, y is equal to 1. So I need to solve this part. When y is equal to 1, what will be the x? So I will write down here when y is 1. So in the same equation, 2x plus 3 into y 1 is equal to 11. So 2x would be 11 minus 3. 2x is equal to 8. So hence x is equal to 4. So if y is 1, x is 4. So now they are saying construct this graph on the grid. So I'm skipping this part because this is decimal. I am using these 2 points. 2 points are more than enough. So first point is 1 and 3. So let me see. This is x1 and y3. So this is the first point. So then it is 4, 1. So x is 4 and y is 1. So this is the second point. So if I join these 2 points and if I extend these also, so my solution is approximately, let me zoom in for you. So just, this would be the solution point. This. So it is basically 2.5 on the x-axis and 2.5 on the y-axis. So 2.5 and 2.5. This is the solution point. So, I can just construct the graph. Done. I have already done it. So you can use scale for a better drawing and a better solution point. And the solution point is coming 2.5 and 2.5. So moving on to the next question. This is very interesting question. We need to find out x when a trapezium is given to you. There are many ways in which you can solve. First of all, this triangle and this triangle and this triangle, they are all similar triangles. This is very important. So it means if this is x, this is also x, and if this is x, this is also x. So if this is 37 degree, because they are similar triangles, so this is also 37 degree. So you can use this triangle. So you can say angle sum of triangle BCE. So x plus 2x plus 5 plus 37 is equal to 180 degree. So basically 3x plus 37 plus 5 would be 42 is equal to 180 degree. 3x would be 138 and x would be 46 degree. So this was a very, there were few concepts which were used. You can even use this straight line also to find this unknown. If this is 2x plus 5, this is also 2x plus 5 because they are alternate interior angles. So you can use this straight line concept also. So moving on to next question. Next question is basically question from rotational symmetry. This is very important question because it's having straightforward answers. So basically a figure is given, it's a polygon. You need to tell how many lines of symmetry. So you can see it's a very symmetric shape. It's kind of like a pentagon, 5 corners shape and a very symmetric shape. So number of lines of symmetry will be 5. Then order of rotation will also be 5. If you take this point as A, you will move it towards this side, 1 rotation, 2 rotational, 3 rotational symmetry, 4 and 5. So they are total 5 rotational symmetry. Center of rotation, so mark the center. Alright, angle of rotation. So angle of rotation is basically the formula is 360 divided by the order of rotation. So it is 72 degree. After every 72 degree, the same figure will be back. This is how you are going to solve symmetry question. So question number 19. Histogram is there. So basically you need to find out the mean marks of 100 students. So for this kind of question, I will recommend that you can extend this table. So because this is x and x is one value, there is no need to find midpoint. So here you will just make another column of fx. So you know sigma f is 100. It is already given to you in the question. So now I can just find out 15 into 0 would be 0. So then 39 into 1 would be 39. Double of 24 would be 48. 17 threes are 51 and 5 fours are 20. So if you add all these value, so it is you are getting 158. So sigma fx is 158. So now you will find mean. You know mean is sigma fx by sigma f. So 158 by 100, and the answer is 1.58 marks, because that is what you are finding. This is sensible answer because you can see from the table this is where the most frequency is lying. So the most of the students are getting 1 mark in the exam. So moving on to the next question. This is probably the last question also. So you need to construct histogram. So out of these two values, this is x, because x should be you can say consecutive values x should be having. This is your frequency. So on the x-axis, just draw a bit of this one, and after that every 5 column will be one block. So take 5 columns carefully. There are 4. So these are the 5. This first one is 65 to 70. Then there is then the next one is 70 to 75. Next is 75 to 80, and the last is 80 to 85. So now on the y-axis, just count the 5 blocks, and that would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So now you can draw 65 to 70, it is 4, so you can draw a bar like this. So remember that join the bars because it is a histogram. So next value is 10, so you need to keep it this long till 10. Next is 8, so 8 would be this much heighted. Next is 4, so 4 would be this much. So this is your histogram. So that's all for now. Thank you for watching everyone. Take care. Allah Hafiz. I hope this video was helpful.